Hey guys, it's Kelly and I am back today with a school themed layout. My kids start school today and there is a Facebook, one of the Facebook groups has like a challenge for a school based layout, and I decided to do my son's schedule. I will talk a little bit about the layout and then I'll get back to the picture. The squares I had pre-cut into 3 by 3 inches, and they are all from the Chamel paper pad. I got that on sale at Michael's for $5. And it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I love the red, diagonal paper, and I love the blue, and I love the numbers, but I usually don't use those papers as primary colors, like all together. And so I decided to push out, use the number paper, and just do something different and have some fun. So I'm not usually this anal about lining things up, but what I want, since it is going to be a grid paper and it is on a white background, if you get a square that is not quite straight, it's going to throw off the whole grid. So for me to anchor down the corner squares, I can pretty much eyeball just about everything else once I get those 4 pieces of paper down. So you can see after this point it's fine for me. So back to the picture. My son is a sophomore this year, and taking school pictures has just become somewhat of a struggle. He's a boy, doesn't really want his picture taken, and he does, he will let me at certain points, but there's just times where I can just see he just doesn't want it. And it's harder to get, pictures of, your kids with their teachers, especially once they, have 6 or 7 different teachers in a day. So I thought it would be fun and just a little something different to take a picture of his schedule so that, going back, he can remember what he was taking. I cut out the teachers' names and things like that, but I just thought it would be a different, fun take on some of the usual school pictures. So since it is a school picture or school related, I pulled out the Notebook Punch by EK Success, and I'm just putting some random layers. I got these papers from my scraps, and I'm not sure who makes the yellow paper, but I'm pretty sure that teal paper is Amy Tan Stitched or Rise and Shine. I'm not sure which one. And that gray paper with stars is from a Studio Calico kit that I got for one of the classes. So I'm just pulling those out, and I like adding papers that are not from the same not manufacturer, that wouldn't bother me, but not from the same line. I just like it because it adds a little something else to the layout, I think. So I decided to put a little piece of vellum behind my picture and to pop it up on foam tape. I had forgotten to do that before I stuck it down. And I had also decided that inking the edges would just make it a little bit better. And it's not necessarily to see ink on the edges. What I'm trying to do is cover up the white core. Sometimes it doesn't bother me, and other times I just want to go ahead and cover it up. So when you look at it, you don't really see that I've inked the edges, but you just no longer see that white. So I knew that when I was starting this layout that I wanted to do some sewing, and I obviously did not want you to see all of that. So I did sew each of the squares down, and I went ahead and ruffled up all the edges just to give that some extra dimension on the page. I also wanted to help make that photo cluster a little bit bigger and to maybe tone down a little bit of the bright colors by just adding another piece of vellum underneath. It's not that big, but to me it just helped make it more visually appealing. One other thing that I did for this layout is I decided to give my thickers a rest and pull out some alphabets that I have not used in a while, and the teal ones are by Jelly Bean and the blue are Pen Pals from Pink Paisley. Now, I love to put tags behind photo clusters, but I like the tags when they have a different tone of the reinforcer. So I just inked with the same gray ink that I've used for the edges, the reinforcer, and I was able to peel it up and stick it back on the other side. So that's my little tip of the day. If you are like me and don't like white on white for your tag, if you are gentle, you can peel it up and ink it. So the white piece of paper, I'm not sure what to call it. It was from a paper pad that a friend tore off a couple of sheets, and I believe that was from the Chamel. Yes, it is from the Chamel collection as well. The top of it says, "I just want to," and I decided to take these Webster's little alphas and say, "Turn back time," because, you know, it's just hard for me to believe that, you know, my firstborn is a sophomore in high school, and you just wonder how on earth time has, you know, gone that fast, and how, you know, it just amazes me that, you know, he's so big and it's just crazy. He is starting to drive with his learner's permit, and it's just, you know, you're looking at him in a whole different light, and you know, my mommy brain is still just reeling from all of the changes that have taken place this past year. So I really like the fact that that little paper pad covered up some more of the grid and also gave the subtitle for the layout. And I decided to go ahead and put these letters down. I like for, you know, when I figure out my title placement, I'd like to get them down because when they start moving, it drives me crazy. And especially with these, there's no adhesive on the back, at least with thickers, even though you know that they're not going to stick, they won't move around on you all the time, and you can kind of, you know, keep on creating. Well, these were going to drive me bonkers, so I went ahead and put these down. And my first thought was that I was going to stitch somewhat of a banner with, you know, the blue, the Pen Pals letters, but I decided because I did all of this other stitching, I didn't want it to be too much. I didn't want it to take away from the grid effect. So at this point, I am starting to pull out some embellishments. I have not really pulled out embellishments, so I just kind of was pulling a couple of things that was on top of my desk. And I briefly thought about the cork stars, but because the papers have gray, and because, you know, I didn't have that brown reinforcer for the tag, I decided that I did not want to introduce another color. So I went ahead and I actually walked away from the layout for a while, actually to eat breakfast. And while I was eating, was trying to think of some other things that I could do. And I went through my stash and pulled some other things out. I pulled some different enamel dots, wood veneer stars, wood veneer apple, washi, and I also wrote my journaling and just put that down on the page. So I decided that I really needed to cover up some more of those numbers just because, you know, it's me, and wow, I love the paper, but it was just a little too much, and I wanted to have an embellishment cluster up top. So this is when I said to a friend, we were texting that I channeled my inner Chamel. I was using her paper, and I pulled out the inner Chamel by doing the, the label with the 2 different circles and the pinked edge. That's definitely something that Chamel would do. But I did like the way that it turned out. The flare is from a Studio Calico kit, but I'm not sure who the maker of it was. So I found these October Afternoon enamel dots, and the 2 yellow stars made perfect little, I guess, holding places for the banner. And it also brought the pop of yellow down into that, the title. I have wanted to bring the red, the blue, the turquoise around the page, and knew that by my photo and the tag that I was going to just do it with enamel dots. So I went ahead and put tape underneath the washi tape, because the washi tape, I'm not sure who made that washi tape, but it just doesn't really stick well. But I like the pattern, so I keep it and just know that I'm going to have to put my ATG gun behind it. So it's hard to see these enamel dots on the numbers paper, but it really does stand out when you're looking in real life. And so I wanted to get 3 different places to put the enamel dots, and I decided underneath the journaling in a straight line. Sometimes it just looks good if you change it up a little bit. And so the last thing I'm going to do with this layout is I'm going to staple the twine down for the shipping tag. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do have some stills at the end, and my challenge would be for you to take a school picture that you wouldn't normally think of. So, for me, it was the schedule, but whether it be your child's backpack, their lunchbox, something that you might not necessarily take a picture of and make a page about it. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.